Hey everyone, this is J Rod with I'll Hack You, and today we have a PortSwigger Academy lab on GraphQL. This one titled Accidental Exposure of Private GraphQL Fields, and the objective of this lab is to find a broken access control vulnerability that would divulge user credentials to us, and then we'll authenticate as the administrator and delete the user card list. So if you're ready to start hacking some GraphQL, click on the Access the Lab button and let's get hacking. Yeah, I have Firefox pulled up with the lab running here and Burp listening for all the traffic going into it. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is just click links, click buttons, and learn about the application. So here we see that we have access to a login portal. So the way that we're going to solve this lab is by authenticating as the administrator via a exposed credentials, broken access control finding. So this makes sense. Let's hop over to Burp and look at some of these GraphQL endpoints that we see. So a couple queries, it looks like in here, very similar to the last time, if not the exact same queries. So get all blog posts is the query name, with 4 fields in here is what we're defining to go and request to the back end, and you can see the JSON output of those fields right here. So I think the next step is I want to right click, send this to repeater, click the repeater tab, hit send, and highlight GraphQL just to make sure everything is still working just fine. And now I want to see if, just like the last time, if introspection is enabled. So right click, GraphQL, set introspection query. This will populate a boilerplate GraphQL introspection query for us, so we don't have to go out and fetch it ourselves online or write it ourselves. So that's very handy that Burp can do this. So what is the security risk for GraphQL introspection being enabled? So to understand that, let's talk about what GraphQL introspection is. It is a built-in feature of GraphQL that divulges the API schema of the backend so developers or users know how the API will work. What fields, queries, mutations, etc. they have access to. Very similar to something along the lines of Swagger documentation for a REST API. This is how you use the API. It poses a small and low security risk. It can divulge the entire schema to a threat actor so they know how the API works themselves. Sure, that is the risk. However, I would say the important thing to take away is we need to have proper controls in place to prevent attackers from using those mutations, querying out sensitive information, etc. We should have access controls in place that do authentication and authorization checks, and that's the security risk that we're kind of taking advantage of. We are expediting and speeding up the process with introspection 100%, but the way that we solve some of these labs, it's because of a lack of access control being in place. I just wanted to clear that up to give you an idea that introspection itself is not the end of the world. It's not a critical finding or anything like that. But just like in a REST API, if Swagger documentation exposes some sort of endpoint that doesn't have proper ACL in place, and a threat actor is able to use that to, let's say, update a user's password, that's without authentication, that's bad. Very, very similar to how this would work in the GraphQL world. Very similar concept, if not the exact same, but yeah, just wanted to clear that up. So here we do have introspection, so I will right-click, save GraphQL queries to sitemap, click on the target, drop down, I want the GraphQL endpoint, and we want to select v1 and take a look at all of the queries and mutations that we have access to, and I'm going to click on GraphQL just to keep this clean. So get blog post, pass in an ID, get all the blog posts, change an email, so that's interesting. Login, so mutations to log in and change email addresses. Query to get all the blog posts, query to get a blog post by an ID, and I believe that's then all of the fields in here. And then the last one, get user with ID, username, and password. So this is what I'm leaning towards being the issue. Let's see if we can take advantage of this query. So right click, send to repeater, click the GraphQL tab, and let's see if this is available to us to use. First off, Okay, we passed in a ID of 0 and we got null. So what happens if we change this 0 to a 1 and hit send? Okay, we divulged the administrator user and the administrator password. So let's right click, copy this, jump back over to Burp, paste in that password, authenticate, and now we have access to this admin panel and we can delete the user Carlos. Cool, so that solves the lab. I hope this video brought you some value. I hope you learned a thing or two about GraphQL and just what like introspection is and how to use Burp's built-in GraphQL tab to make reading out the GraphQL schema data a little bit easier. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Have a wonderful day and happy hacking.